Also, Reggie said you can't. He ain't trying to hear nothing from no nigga who don't be
That's
in it.
what that's what I got up here to say. But yeah, I mean, just to talk about that, I wanted
I
to
kind
say
of figured
something
that. That's
about
why I
that.
brought it up at the end. But
But
go ahead.
you can't. Well, you can, but it's a weak psychology. I mean, it's a weak psychology to try to get somebody to do what you want them to do. That's basically what it is. I
So you
mean,
agree with me on that? Trying to take somebody black card.
yeah, that's it's basically reverse psychology. Are you scared just to make somebody do something that they really? I mean, they say they ain't scared. Are you scared? Are you scared? Or until they do it. You know what I'm saying? That's reverse psychology. That's cool. But
Address that
as
other
far
part. I know you want to touch on that.
yeah, as far as like listening to somebody that's been to prison, I don't know nobody who hasn't broke the law.
Mm,
The only difference is some people go to prison for it and some don't.
mm.
Why would you not listen to somebody because they went to prison when we all break the law?
Yeah, I can't say that everybody ain't been to prison. Let me pause that. That everybody ain't been to prison. I can't rock with that.
I didn't say
That ain't
everybody's. I didn't
that
say
ain't say that
everybody has
everybody
been.
black is a
Reggie,
criminal.
he
I
didn't
didn't.
say.
Say, I
He
didn't
said
say everybody that has been to prison. I said everybody has broken the law.
it's just some people get caught.
It's
That's it.
just some get caught and some don't. Why wouldn't you listen to some people who got caught?
Reggie, you broken the law too, right?
No, no, no.
Of course.
Y'all going way overboard with this shit. You know what I mean when I talk about criminal ass people.
No, no, no. Actually, I want you to be more specific then, because you said what kind of crime, and I said shit, selling drugs, carjacking, whatever, purse snatching,
Yeah.
petty larceny,
us-
whatever the case. I just think you dig a deep hole when you say that.
Okay, so I was being too
Just
broad,
be
so I
clear.
gotta add specifics to shit.
I just want you to be specific with what it means to you when you say that.
Yeah, I'm talking about people that have led criminal, just criminal shit as their whole function in life. That's what
Oh,
I
so
mean.
you're a straight up drug lord type shit.
You doing that shit. You convict murderous ass. You shit like that. I ain't talking about people who do petty ass shit, or not even all drug deals. Some people selling dope to try to get by, but then you get some people that's selling dope to try to look fancy and flashy and shit, and don't do shit to get ahead. A lot of people who get caught up in a lot of criminal shit ain't doing it for what it's meant for. A lot of people ain't hustling for what it's meant for. Some people doing it because it's been glorified to them, and they don't have an understanding why the fuck they engage in shit. They think it's cool to go back and brag about what they used to have while fucking off a community. Ain't shit cool about that shit. I've been like I say, I ain't from the suburbs. I ain't from no farm. I ain't from no backwood. I ain't from the country. I ain't from none of that shit.
Where you from, Reg? For the people who don't know.
I'm South Central Los Angeles.
Okay, so you from South Central Los Angeles, and you grew up around. You grew up in the late '80s, mid. You was born in early '80s, right?
But I grew up around original Crips. I got blood family members. I know Bloods. I grew up in the heart of Crips in
And
the
you
most violent time period of that shit, where they
and you
knocking each
disavow
other's
most
heads
of
off.
that, and you disavow that lifestyle too, right? You don't support that lifestyle, correct?
I don't support none of this shit.
All right.
I didn't watch too much. I didn't watch how because this is my view on it, and this is where black people got fucked up, and especially like young generations. And lucky I'm raised around young parents. This ain't been the function of black people. This ain't been the way black people have conducted themselves. A lot of people have accepted this shit as the norm and how shit has always been. We ain't been this fucked up and foul, but we have normalized it because it's been the order. It's been kind of the order of community functions. When shit start to break down, people talk about men being pulled from the homes, women running shit, young boys taken to the streets, turning to hustling, then turn the community against themselves. I watched this LA start to break the fuck down. Like my time period being born was at kind of a crucial turning point, and I watched that shit. And I watch how it's continued to carry on. These younger kids are fucking lost and misguided. Is it these young kids' fault? No, it's every generation before the current generation that's out here doing shit. They've been misguided, unapproached. When I was coming up, the other thing that was kind of unique with me is that older cats talk to us. It was nothing like even my homies reflect. It was nothing for one of the older cats in the neighborhood to pull us all together, take us somewhere. All right, y'all get in the car. We about to roll to the store. Go buy y'all something. Y'all go in the backyard. Get out the front. It was nothing about that. We were approached and talked to, but as time moved on, older folks didn't speak to young kids, didn't teach them positive shit. You can go move some shit, and that's where it began to turn. They never had that shit happen. And now it become normalized. Young motherfuckers sending 10 and 12-year-old kids on missions and shit.
All right, let me let my guy. After Jules, I'm gonna let my guy Todd pull up Beeman talk because he just beamed in and he hasn't spoken yet. He's been.
I just want to say this and I'll be done.
No, you good, my brother, and thank you again for your time and energy.
Thanks for having me, Mark. You know it's all love, brother.
I won't have it no other way, bro. You're my
But
guy.
what I want to say is, a lot of people, not a lot of people, the highest of the high break the law. They just don't go to jail because they learn how to circumvent it. Right. They're living in the criminal element. They are criminals. Politicians are the biggest criminals. They don't go to jail because police ain't searching for them like they searching the hood. It's a target practice. So you can't say you wouldn't listen to criminal element because everybody has a criminal element. We all break the law, brother. I can't say the law was meant to be broken, but it's gonna be.
Guys, I know where you coming from, Jules, that you've been in prison and all this shit, and I understand that.
But I'm saying there are more people who break the law that haven't been to prison that have been.
But
I've been to prison. I've been to prison for selling drugs.
Yeah, so you taking offense to what I'm saying?
No, I'm really not taking offense to what you're saying personally because I have been to prison. I'm saying I've been to prison for selling drugs. I ain't never seen a poppy field. I ain't never seen a coca leaf in my life.
Facts. Yeah, let me hit the bill.
But if the police were searching at the border and really trying to stop the war on drugs instead of the war on black people by using drugs, they would have been stopped. If they let this stuff come in here for us to get it. You see that? Reggie, it's a criminal element all the way through it.
Slow down. Reggie know that, but my brother, you still have power of choice.
That is a fact.
Thank you.
You still have power of choice. But you can control people's choices if you can control what avenues they see.
Fair enough, but the ratio of blacks selling drugs is not 95%, 99%. So it's obviously a lot more choices.
It's
every drug dealer that was arrested in Kingpin, I'm sure it was 20 to 100,000 graduates of high school that year. You get what
okay. You say that as if Big Meech didn't have a $250 million drug empire.
I lost the correlation of I don't see how that correlate or correspond to
okay. Oh, you said not all black people. Well, I feel you. Not all black people said that's for facts. Some people choose to go to work. Some people choose to rob. Some people choose just not to get. Some people are just lucky enough not to get caught.
And some people just live a clean life too, though, bro.
No, nobody lives a clean life, brother.
Yeah, okay. They might skim a little bit on their taxes, but it's not enough to go to jail. You just
what you mean skim a little bit on it? It's breaking the law, bro. If they was looking, if they put mandatory minimums on scheming on your taxes, a lot more people would be going to jail.
But here's the thing: I might break the speed limit. I might roll through a stop sign. They're not gonna put me in prison for that, bro. It's not the same. Yeah, I broke a law, but the law I broke is more of a traffic violation, a city ordinance. My music is too loud in my hoopty, so it's rattling people's windows. You get what I'm saying? My neighbor complains about my partying. They're not taking me to prison for that. It's a difference, my brother. It is a difference. Yes, I broke a law, but I'm not about to be in prison.
No, you broke like you said, you broke a city ordinance. Something that they wrote into. I mean, it's an ordinance. It's something they pay. It's a fine for. It's not really breaking the law, bro.
Right. I had a violation, traffic violation, city ordinance. My music, because that's what I found out. The city ordinance. My music's too loud.
Right.
Drinking in public. It's a county ordinance. They can give you a citation because you broke a rule. But come on, bro. Like I get what you saying, Jules, and you're 1,000% right in my opinion. People break rules all the time or laws. And I actually disagree with Reggie because, like I said in the chat, you can learn from a bum under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, you can learn not how to be sitting beside him next year around this time. So I feel like you can learn something from anything and anybody. You can learn something from nature, bro. Like I don't know, but I'm not here to judge Reggie for his opinion. His opinion and his opinion, and it's not to be judged. Or and it's. I mean, granted, we can debate it. I mean, we can have a conversation about it.
Yeah, we can debate it.
Yeah, well, no, we can have a conversation, because we can't debate your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. You get what I'm saying?
We can help him see another point of view, though.
Possibly.
Yeah, I've heard this.
but Jules, I'm under the belief of this. Once you tell somebody we're having a debate, and everybody who knows the show, Ty, I ain't forgot you. I got you right after this. Pause. Taylor, I said it. You can't say nothing. I'm under the firm belief of this. Once you call something a debate, many people, not all, some banal, like Zoe Williams would say, some banal, not all. They shut down a part of their brain for deductive reasoning, rational logic, just trying to be fair. And it becomes about just winning the debate. So that's why I don't really like to do debates, bro. I like to just have a good conversation with people I respect and people who respect me. Because first of all, if we don't respect each other, we can't even have a conversation. Civilized is going to get toxic, and it can get real toxic on this because motherfuckers can be hiding behind the avatar and say, I'm gonna bring the AK to where your baby.
Nah, it ain't worth all that. It ain't all that. It definitely ain't that.
Nah, everybody's up here. I respect them, man. On a high level, you know what I'm saying. So
I want to come back to it, but I'm gonna let the brother go because he's been up here patiently waiting.
Yeah, this is my guy Ty. Ty Boogie, what's good?
Hey, y'all keep going. I'm getting loaded. I'm gonna come back.
You on the road? What city? What state you in right now? You on the road?
Yeah, I'm in Greensboro. I'm getting loaded. I'm gonna come back in a few minutes.
All right, for sure. Look at me. I'm trying to facilitate. And he ain't ready to take a shot. You know what I'm saying? He passing the ball back. Don't pass it back to me. I'm gonna dunk it, but I pass the ball. Pass the mic around. Pause, Taylor. I can't even say pass the ball. Okay. I pass the mic.
But what I was gonna say is like, okay, what I was trying to retort was the selling drug thing. Drug dealers don't force anybody to do it. I mean, to buy the drugs. The drugs, they people go searching for the drugs. They don't. When the crack epidemic, it was criminal. Now it's a heroin epidemic. It's medical.
It's still criminal.
No, it's medical. They ain't locking you up for opioid use like that. They're not sending you to prison like they send people for crack users to prison.
I think that shit.
They're sending them to hospitals and rehabs now.
You talking about the seller or you talking about the user?
I'm both.
You get caught with some heroin, your ass going to fucking jail. White, black.
No, you ain't. I get heroin every month. I get heroin every month, respectfully.
Man, don't say that shit.
From CVS. What the fuck do you mean? I get heroin every month. I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I get heroin every month in a pill form. It's called oxycodone. It ain't nothing but synthetic heroin. And when they stop giving me that, guess what? I'm going to be tweaking for something like that because I've been taking it for 6 years.
Hey, real quick, Brandon. This is Brandon, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Brandon, call the Skype number, and I can keep you on the line on that one, and I'm gonna leave this one open. Call the six. I'll put it on the screen. It's 678-381-1938. And
okay.
Don't nobody call that but Brandon, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll put it on the screen. Reg, you want to reply to that? He said basically he's talking about legal drugs with a prescription.
Yeah, he's talking about prescribed
legal
shit.
and illegal and illegal.
Come on, bro.
No, but
because selling drugs is selling drugs, bro. Like I just said, they've been giving me this stuff for 6 years. If they so decide or change mandates to where I can't get it, guess what I'm gonna want? Some heroin. They leave people know. Come on, man. They get people addicted to this stuff and then make them criminals by using it.
Yeah,
because they're going out to look for it.
A dope documentary online about that too. Yeah, it's crazy. Let Brand get in. Hey, Brand, what up?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Brand. You got the floor. You got to want to reply to anything that's going on right now. We kind of went. in journalism they would call
Yeah.
this burying the lead, but it's all good.
Yeah, but I want to say this real quick because I think we're getting lost in words.
Yes, sir.
When y'all talking about, I heard Red say he don't want to listen to people that been to prison. I think that I think what he's trying to say is he would rather not hear from people that's still getting out of prison, practicing criminal behavior. When it comes to Malcolm X was not the same man who went into prison. He had something to say. So when you talk about listening to criminals talk about criminal enterprise, most people don't want to hear this.
But
when you
okay,
talk about
let him finish, because let him finish, please.
my bad.
Let's call
Malcolm X was a different man. He had the knowledge himself. He had the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad and was trying to clean up himself and repair his community for what he put inside of it in our despair. That he tried to get out and fix it and clean people up and tell people to try to live a righteous life. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't commit fornication, don't mistreat your women, those type of things. So that's what made him compelling, and that's what made him have something to say. And he was also telling you who he felt like your enemy was. He was telling you, clean your body up, clean your minds up, let's get together, let's treat each other as people. So when it comes to the Malcolm X things, that's what separates people. So the question should have been asked, why should we listen to somebody come out of prison? Is they talking positive? Is they talking about repairing their community? Is they telling us not to make the mistakes that put them inside of prison? That's the thing I think the question should be asked. I think that's what was lost on it.
All right.
Go
ahead, Jules. Brand, you can stay right there.
Okay.
Just cut him off though. Let him finish. Go ahead.
It's like can you blame somebody for doing what they were taught? It's okay. Yes, Malcolm X came out different than when he went in, but he was being taught as he was in prison. Prison is not a place of rehabilitation. Prison is not somewhere you go to stop being a criminal. You learn more about being a criminal in prison than you do about not being a criminal in prison. If they wanted to rehabilitate you, they wouldn't have taken education out of the prisons. That's why you can't get a degree in prison anymore. They don't want to rehabilitate you. They want to create recidivism. Prisons are privatized now. It is a money-making industry. And people are the stock. They create criminals so they can create wealth for themselves. The question, yes, yes, you say you don't listen to. I agree with the brother that said it's depending on what they're talking. If they're talking positive or if they're talking negative, you can see what they're listening, what you should listen to and what you shouldn't. But it's more of a we do what we see instead of do what we're told type of people. That's what your parents say. Do as I say, not as I do. Because they want you to do better, but we don't listen to what they say. We see what they do and mimic that. So yes, if a person is talking positive, because a person can talk positive all they want about rehabilitating the community and talk your head off 90 going north and be the same person destroying the community when ain't nobody looking. I.e. preachers in church.
Uh-oh.
Not to get too far off the topic, but I'm just saying people can talk a good game. Yes. It doesn't matter if you've been to prison or not. If you're destroying the community, you're destroying the community.
And look, and I'm gonna let Brandon get his bars off. And after this, I kind of want to move forward because, like I said, we kind of bearing the lead because no matter what we say right here, if Reggie has it in his mind, I'd rather learn and get advice from people who haven't been to prison. That's what Reggie's gonna do.
Goddamn right.
Let
me touch on this point.
Hold on, I got you. Let me just set this up. So, and I think it's important to realize we're not here to change nobody's opinion. You here to vocal your opinion. If you disagree with somebody, that's cool. We can address it. And because at the end of the day, people are listening, and I get it. You don't want to be that guy to be like, yo, I sat there and let that shit slide, and I don't agree with that. I get it. But more than that, yeah. I think it's important to trade dialogue and let people speak freely, and without judgment.
Yeah, and let me say this, man.
And then, but at some point, we got to move forward respectfully.
Yeah, this is quick, man. And this is the thing where I think it's just so much of what black folks have brought into a misconception of who we are, what we are. And we buy too much into thinking that everything related to us has to be around the criminal reform system, this criminal justice system, or whatever the hell you want to call the prison system. A lot of black folks ain't even tied in the criminal shit. And we have placed too much into thinking that our existence is based on criminality. And even inside of hoods, it's a small percentage of people who get involved in criminality and shit. It just so happens we happen to make up a bulk of what we see a lot of this criminal organizations that happen to be from. But for the larger portion of these communities, a lot of people ain't engaged in criminal and illicit shit. A lot of people live righteous lives inside the hood. It's just so unfortunate. The depiction and picture of the black community has surrounded itself by everything negative when most people in it ain't negative. So why the hell do I got to find someone who's been in and out of prison to be a person that influences and guides the way I live life? Like, that's where we have lost a lot of shit. Even in where the hoods where I come from, the larger percentage of the people from the neighborhood ain't involved in gangs and shit. And that's the way throughout all of America. But I'll pass it.
Okay, I want to retort to that, and I want to get off when we're after that, because like Mark said, the wise man learns from anybody, learns from fools just as well as he learns from wise men. But I want to, as you say, it's not everybody in the hood is not negative. It's not like that. If that was the case, and then there wouldn't be too much of a negative aspect because the people who were living righteous would band together against the ones who weren't. But that's not happening.
Niggas be scared.
I mean, yeah, being scared. Okay, I relate it.
You
Like
broke up, Mark.
it's like this. How
I said they be scared. I said they be scared.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like this though. How I relate it is like I said.
Right, marching with Malcolm, they was telling him, "You causing trouble for us."
Yeah, but like they say, like there are good cops and bad cops, and I say no, there's not, because if there were good cops, there would be no bad cops, because the good cops would make sure they arrest the bad cops because the bad cops are breaking the law that they chose to uphold. Do you see that?
I'm listening.
So there's i.e. turning a blind eye to somebody destroying something makes you accessible, makes you an accessory to that crime or to the community they're destroying. You're helping it.
Okay. Brandon, I know Brandon said he wanted to say something, and after that we're gonna get back into we gotta because at the end of the day, what we got off we're talking about Reggie. No, not even just that. We're talking about Reggie's personal opinion about who he wants advice from. And I get it. We don't want people to, if you disagree with that and you think that's toxic logic, you got to step up and say, hey, I think that's toxic logic. Let me tell you why. But at some point, like, we're not convincing Reggie anymore. Like, this man is almost 40 years old, got 3 kids. Like, I can't even talk to you know what I'm saying? I can't talk this motherfucker into eating a slice of pizza that he don't want to eat.
It's not trying to talk him into it. It's just trying to get him to see what side of the moon I look from. That's all.
Fair enough.
It's just, hey, I'm looking from this side of the moon. That's it. It's not trying to change his mind, him necessarily, but it can be somebody else who might feel like him that you might reach to be able to say, hey, I see where you're coming from. Let me reevaluate how I go about learning stuff.
I couldn't agree more. You got to let people hear the other side of the moon. I like that. Good analogy. Go ahead, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Brandon. Like I was saying, when it comes to the prison element, I don't think that we should take pride in acting as though that's a badge of honor because we went to prison. But we should take
Definitely
pride
not.
in is being reformed after coming out of prison. We don't need their degrees. Malcolm X didn't finish the 8th grade. What he said he did in his book, he said that he learned and started reteaching himself by copying the dictionary. He said that he learned by every piece of information
He was taught that.
He
was taught that.
That he learned.
Let him get his bars off, Jules.
No. What is he saying?
He said that was taught to him.
Yeah,
everything in life is taught to us.
Yeah, everything in life is taught. Somebody taught you how to talk,
right,
and tie your shoes. I get it.
Right. So that goes without saying. So what Malcolm X did is he started trying to teach himself, and also he came across the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad, which means that he didn't need a degree, but he was still able to go stand in front of Oxford. He was able to go to Harvard and teach. So it's about the mentality that which you have, not because you've been to prison or greater confinement. That's not it. And our goal should be able to stay out of these people's prison system. That we should learn how to maneuver through this system. That's the thing about it. And when it comes to the criminal element, what if I took you to Russia and I took you to where the poor people are? Do you believe that the most crime or the most destitute things will be going on where the poor people are? Yeah. If I took you to China, where the poor people are. So the question we should be asking is, how the hell do we get into these prisons? Because it's based most of the time on the capitalistic system and based on the haves and have-nots. So I just leave it at that. But outside of that, man, Fire Show Mark, I'm going to jump back in the chat. If it get too hot, I'm going to jump on the panel. But salute to you, bro, and salute to the brothers on the panel. Great conversation.
Thank you.
What yes, sir. What I wanted to say about Malcolm X is that when he went to prison, he was a criminal until somebody else say, yo, come here, little homie. This is what you're going to do. And he just took that guidance and ran with it. But he listened to somebody who was in prison who taught him how to be a better person. A fool would have said, "No, nigga, you ain't here with me. How you gonna teach me something?" But he was wise and listened and took heed to the advice that he was being given. Somebody told him to study the dictionary every day. He didn't just pick that up and start doing it. Somebody told him that. Like I said, our behaviors are taught.
I get it, but I don't get your point when you say that right there, though.
What I'm saying, he said people say he taught himself. He didn't teach himself anything. Okay. He didn't go in there. He didn't get to prison and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be a better person. I'm not coming back to this place." That's not what he got to prison and doing. Remember, when he got to prison, he was living the criminal element that prisoners live. Somebody snatched him up. Come here. What I'm saying is, to the point of not listening to somebody who's been to prison or in and out of prison. Somebody else taught him how to be a better person while he was in prison. He didn't learn that being outside on the streets.
Right. And maybe if Reggie was to, God forbid, be in a situation like that, and that's the only advice he's able to get to be positive, he might adapt to that. He might adopt to that as well. He might have a different vantage point, but as of where we stand right now, he don't. He said, "Hey, look, I'm not gonna break no laws. I'm not speeding. I'm not drinking and driving. I'm gonna pay child support if I gotta pay my child support, whatever it is." You get what I'm saying? I get it, Jules.
And it's like that. It's like this, Mark. At some point, depending on the environment you put yourself in, the environment and the conditions that you find yourself living in, the only way to slow you down is to find somebody to pull you to the side. And the person pulling to the side was probably a guy who wasn't going to get out, but a guy who probably saw potential in this young prisoner, this young guy who he didn't want to see come back in there, being he could have been released. At some point, somebody going to have to reach you. It's for some people, those ones who reached them happen to be in prison. For a person like me, being I don't get caught up in that shit, prison ain't the place somebody reach me. Malcolm X's story is different. And it's good and fortunate that he had somebody with wisdom who had slowed himself down to improve himself to be able to pass upon teachings to teach Malcolm, and then it went on and on. That's their that's where the influence will come for them. That's where those people will kind of gain new perspective on life in those environments. He could have found that insight on life had he been choosing different paths. Certain people meet their certain paths and their mentors, depending on what kind of life they live. Some people get out and act as if they have made changes to their lives, and they play this 1 foot in, 1 foot out shit.
None of us chose our circumstances, though.
How you don't? Everybody got locus. Have you ever heard of locus of control?
No.
We all control this shit.
Some at a certain age, yeah. But at a certain age, you're also a victim of your environment and circumstance. Like a crack baby doesn't choose to be a crack baby. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? They didn't choose that circumstance, Reggie. Now,
we're talking about adults, bro.
Right. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I feel like. We're talking in micro, like you're talking in a broad spectrum, and you're painting with a wide brush. Jules is kind of, in my opinion, no disrespect, you're talking in microcosms and like but you're speaking of them in a macrocosm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because when he says nobody, you was like nobody choose that certain. You're right at a certain. Yeah, you didn't choose to be black. You didn't choose to be poor. You didn't choose to be a child.
You didn't choose what you were taught. You didn't choose what you learned.
Right, things are put in front of you. But
exactly, you're a product. You said you're a product of your environment. Like you said, you're a product of. If you're a product of your environment, then that means you didn't choose your circumstance.
But Jules, hear me out. For everybody else, like that person, yeah. But at some point, you have free will, and every person in that neighborhood, for every person in that neighborhood who didn't have a dad in their house, and they're, it's other people out there who didn't do that. Like me and you can have a mirrored story. Like we both are, single parent homes. Dad is missing. Mom was on drugs. Mom was selling drugs. Mom writing numbers. Whatever the case may be, we can have a similar story there. But at some point, when I turned 18, I said I was going to join the army. You got to pack off the block. You get what I'm saying? You had that choice. Now, I ain't saying I made the best choice and joining the army is the best thing to do. I wouldn't tell everybody to do that. I wouldn't tell nobody to do that, to be honest. Like, it was what I did.
But like I said, like I'm saying, Mark, at
some point you got to pack instead of going to fill out the application. That was put on a mask and gloves and ran up in that bank.
But I picked up a pack way before I was eligible to pick up an application. I learned that in the house. That's what I was taught.
Absolutely.
That's what was in front of me. Like I say, people don't do. We're not a do as we're told. We're a do as we see. And that's why as a people as a whole, that's how we are. Just psychology wise, we are do as we see, not as do as we're told. Because we were all told to do better. But we all, for the most part, did as we saw. Yes, there are exceptions that disprove the rule, but for the majority, we are a do as we see type of people.
Fair. Can I ad lib to that? Can we be I do as I want? Because all of us know, hey, if you want to look like The Rock, you got to do a lot more push-ups, sit-ups, and lift more weights. But I don't want to do it. I see it. He tell me, but I just do what I want to do.
But if you see,
we do as we want as society more than anything. What do you think?
What I'm saying is, if you grow up, what you grow up around, what you're seeing the most is normally what most people become. The reason there are not more lawyers and doctors around is because we don't see lawyers and doctors in the places that we come from.
I agree with you on that one. Now, checkmate. You got me on that one, my brother. Because I say that all the time. Once it's one doctor in the family, look up. Because it's about to be a couple more. If it's a
exactly,
family, it's about to be
we're do as we see. That's what I'm saying. We're do as we see type of people.
But I think that comes from people. Yeah, I think that's knowing where you come from too. You know what you're capable of, and that's why I always think the worst sin that was committed on Black people in America was stripping them of their language and their history of where they came from. But Brandon Washington is back. Go ahead, Brandon. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to say something to Jules. Malcolm X was self-taught on his own when he picked up. There was nobody in prison that pulled him to the side. I think you're thinking about a movie. The movie is not based on his book. If you read his book, he tells you exactly how he was taught and how he learned. So I don't
He
know
didn't
where
run
you.
into a Muslim in prison.
No, sir. That's a movie. No, his how he got introduced to the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad was through his brothers and sisters. They were members, and what they did was they came to him and told him that they can help him get out of prison. He thought it was some kind of angle, but they introduced him to the teachings. What you thinking about is the Malcolm X movie, and that's not true.
Oh, so hold on. Let me ask you this: why did Spike Lee take liberty like that, and why he ain't keep that part 100? Why he introduced the black dude?
Because it's Hollywood, and also that movie is based on a
Screenplay.
actual screenplay by James Baldwin. He wrote the first treatment for it, so that's where they got a lot of that from. Just like in Malcolm's book, if you remember in the movie, he says that he says they show him having a vision of the most Elijah Muhammad in his cell. That's not what he
No,
said. That's not what happened in the book. In the book, he says he had a vision of the founder of the nation, Master Farad Muhammad, in his book. So they just changed a few things because it's Hollywood. So, but Baines and all of that y'all see in the movie, there's no such person. That was just Hollywood.
no, I wasn't talking about him. But okay, you might. I could
That's
have
what I was
sworn
thinking of. I ain't
that I
gonna lie. I
read
thought that
something.
was
I could
another
have sworn I
person.
read something different. But I got
no,
to go back and reread the book. But I could have
no,
sworn he ran into a Muslim while he was locked up. So okay,
no. You got to
I
look at
could
that
you could
book.
be right about that though.
Yeah, there was no Muslims like that. There was no Muslims like that. You got to remember, this is 1945, 1947. I mean, it was a small community. So it wouldn't, no, it was no Muslims in prison like that. No. So Malcolm took it upon himself. And he talks about the first word in the dictionary that he copied to get his handwriting. It was aardvark, remember? And he
Oh,
goes he goes down, but yeah, as far as wanting to see better and do better in our community, we all seen things growing up in the inner city and the ghetto, and we were all taught certain things, but at a certain point in time, it's up to you. It's up to you. Like Mark said, you have free will. Yeah, we don't have doctors and lawyers in our community, and the reason. Go ahead. Somebody
nobody
say
said
something.
nothing. No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
You got it.
I didn't say anything.
The thing about us wanting to do better is we have to make sure that when we see things that don't depict us well, that we should stray away from it. That goes back to even the boxing thing. If we are watching shows like BMF, Ding Ding Mark, hit the bell. Uh, if we watching shows like BMF and we watching shows like Power and we glorifying these things, but we don't have shows. We don't even have shows like the Cosby Show anymore to show success. To
Yo,
make
I'm
you,
back.
we don't have a different world to
All
make
right, I
us
got you,
want
Ty. I got you after this, Ty. Ty said he
to
back.
make to make us want to go to college, to make us want to do these things. So we got to demand it ourselves. We got to make sure that this degenerate music out here, where everybody got a stick, everybody want to kill somebody, all your women is bitches and hoes, all your women is on TV talking about WAP. That's the thing we got to get away from. If we get away from that, then we'll be on the road to doing something. But as long as we keep allowing this degenerate behavior to be pushed to the forefront, then we're gonna keep recycling the same people and making the same degenerate people. We're gonna get further away from being a decent people. That's the thing about us. That's why they can keep filling the prison systems up, because our music is out here telling us to go kill a nigga, shoot a nigga, rob a nigga. But they don't tell you that's your brother. Treat your brother well. That's the thing we should do. So that's why we don't have this, we don't have that within us as a people, because we allow the worst of us to be pushed to the forefront. But I'm gonna sit back.
Thank you, Brandon,
That's
because
what
we
you got.
wasn't always like that.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Ty said he back. What up, Ty? How you feel, my brother?
What up, man? These boys preaching tonight.
Something light, something light.
Yeah, man. I mean, I
Hold on,
agree.
real quick. Blue Dream
Okay.
said, "Hey, Brandon." She said, "WAP is real. Don't hate." Go ahead, Ty. Let's go, Ty.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. I see both sides of the spectrum. Like for me, like I grew up poor, housing project, and man, basketball pretty much saved my life. I mean, if I could think about 85% of the guys I grew up with in prison, dead, on drugs. I mean, when you grow up in those environments and the men in those environments are not leaders, they're just living day to day. There's no long-term plan. I mean, they can show you how to get a pack. They can show you how to get some short-term money. And it's going to be what it's going to be. I mean, like they say, like the other brother was saying, like they put these drugs in the community. They do this, they do that. At a certain point in time, if your mother's on welfare, you ain't living like you want to live. A lot of us are going to pick up those drugs and use them to try to get some sort of money, to bring some sort of income into the house. My brother did it. A lot of his peers did it. I understand you got a choice, but man, when your stomach touching your back, you got to make a choice too. So, man, I get both sides of the argument, and I don't know how I never picked up a pack, bro. I mean, personally, I just don't know. Like, I think I was always just scared of going to jail.
My mama handed me my first pack, nigga. Like, if I ain't mistaken, I don't know if she handed it to me or I got it from my sister's baby daddy, Danny. Everybody from the city know who I'm talking about. Man, I was kicked out of school, and my mom already had the place set up. Looking back in hindsight, that shit is wild because niggas could have did whatever to me. I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? I might have been like 8th grade. So how old are you when you in 8th grade? What's that? How old are you?
14,
12, 13.
No, I was 14.
You should be turning 14.
Because you turned 16 and 10. I was gonna turn 16 and 10. So I was about 14. And yeah, G and Stan, I'm changing the names for these people. You know what I'm saying? Statute of limitations definitely been up, but I'll just say G and Stan. You know what I'm saying? Or Dan, G and Dan. And she already had the shit weighed out what they supposed to get. She'd be like, this one is for G, this one is for Stan. They'll come through on their lunch break and they'll sit there. They work at like a little mechanic shop. They'll come through on the lunch break, they'll get their pack, they'll eat their lunch, watch TV, and then they leave. And they leave me the money.
Yeah, see the thing about us,
hindsight is 2020, nigga. That's dangerous as fuck. You get what I'm saying? But
why is it dangerous?
But my mom was clientele, I guess, and obviously so. They never short the money. I ain't never short the weed. First of all, I only supposed to be there, nigga. I'm supposed to have my black ass in school at 14, but I'm kicked out for the rest of the year anyway. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Okay, Mark.
I don't judge my mom. I love my mom, but looking back, like, golly.
Mark.
Yeah, moms was wrong.
Mark.
Absolutely. I love
Mark.
you, but that was wrong.
Mark.
What up, though?
Is
don't judge my mom, nigga. My life is my life, my nigga.
No, I'm not about to judge your mom's, not at all. No, that's not what I'm going off of, man. I was going back to the brother's comment about majority of the people not being of the criminal element. That's the hardened criminal element. That's why you weren't jacked or robbed, or because most people aren't that type of way. Yes, they deal in criminal elements. Yes, they break the law, but they're not. There is an honesty in dishonesty.
Now you trying to defend the undefendable, Julie.
Right, and we stand too much on a different topic right here. Like,
no, it's not defending the undefendable. It's
no. I don't want people to think I'm clickbaiting them, getting them in here for one conversation, and it's going so left for so long. Like I said, you guys aren't gonna agree. That's all I'm saying. And there's no way about it. There's no way around it. But I do want you guys.
And look, I want to say this quickly, Mark. This is how undefendable this shit is, because when we look at the approaches, and Ty brought up a good point about how the men have misguided these young youth and haven't guided them at all to even turn to teaching a young kid about hitting the streets, picking up packs. If you hustling, this is where black folks went fucking wrong with hustling, especially when crack hit the streets. Rather than when people pulling in all these millions and shit, rather than using this to buying up the block and owning shit for their parents who were being hit hard as the economy of this country shift and many fathers unemployed, mothers unhireable, having to work and clean white folks' homes, rather than doing shit to buying up the block, putting them in homes because they made enough money to buy the properties in which their fucking grandparents before them come in here to afford and buy. Rather than owning that shit, they got too busy caught up in buying little flashy, flossy shit while not owning shit. This is the problem.
Because
And then
they did what they saw and not what they.
Let me finish this. And even not putting money aside to putting, and even in this current age, they ain't putting money aside to fucking put together college funds for these kids, making sure they putting their kids through high level graduate programs. I was happy to see the other day I come across Rich Porter's daughter and see she has a doctorate degree. That's a mother who had planning. But then going on further, this ain't the function of what black folks supposed to be. Hustling has been turned into flossing and shitting on people. And it's the constant thing you see within the culture of degenerate bullshit that black folks have allowed to be the accepted nature of us. It's to shit on one another. And this is why you get these divides of boycott this, oh no, support him and this and that. It's the same bullshit. And to defend that shit, please, niggas is lost.
Yeah, see, Reggie just made a good point, right? I see that a lot, and it's going on a lot in my hometown of Savannah, right? Like you just said, nobody put up any money to, buy the block or even restore these homes that their parents, that two-parent homes that these kids that came from two-parent homes were living in. Prime example, in Savannah College of Art and Design has damn near brought up the whole entire Midtown, West Side. I mean, you wouldn't even see no white folks over there. I'm talking about now they got classrooms and campuses and I mean like satellite classes in the hood. I mean, you see white people walking up and down the hood, buying up the block, gentrifying the whole community. Man, it is terrible, man. I mean, people getting kicked out of their own houses because they can't even pay the taxes, bro. I mean, back in the day, you see dope boys on these corners flossing, doing whatever they got to do. But now, man, white folks done took over the whole goddamn hood. Well, it used to be a black community.
Even look at all the paid in full shit. All they talk about is cars they brought shit off the lot. You never hear them talk about, yeah, I brought mom a house, we own this and that. We ran this, we was making an operation, making $80,000 a day. None of them own shit. Even the dope dealers I know, none of them own shit. Even the cats who hustled back in the day, they all had to return to working 9 to 5s after doing long stints in prison.
Well, Todd, let me ask you this. Before I proceed, Jules, let me get your take on this.